Good evening, YouTubers. It's our evening chat time with my lovely wife. Doesn't she look nice? She's got a lovely top on. Is that new, darling?
Mm-hmm.
You've been to Carrefour again.
Went to Carrefour, yeah.
Looking
got
at
some
their
new
summer
tops.
collection. Well, I don't generally cover stuff in the news because it's usually really boring and
For lies.
brain dead and stuff like that. But I something caught my eye tonight, and you've probably, especially in the UK, they're talking about the Royal Air Force. Now my ears prick up because as you know, being into flying and piloting and stuff, that's always got my attention. They're always going on and on about stupid things, and today they're going on about something completely moronic. Apparently the latest thing is the diversity targets are doing their heads in because there's far too many useless white male pilots in the Royal Air Force, and the amount of women make up about 2%, and so they need to employ more diverse people. In other words, they don't want useless white men anymore. They want black women and gay people and Indian women and stuff like that. So it's very simple. The answer is that us useless white men should not bother applying to join the Air Force. Okay, while that gives the chance for all these black women and white women and any other colour women and gay people to join up and become fighter pilots while we're not there. And that's fine, because as far as I'm concerned, you know, if I was a recruiter for the Royal Air Force, I would want suitable people. And a good analogy of it is if I wanted snipers, right, I'd pick the people that could hit the target. I wouldn't care what colour they were, or how big they were, or how small they were. If they could hit the target, they've got the job. And it's as simple as that. I don't care what colour they are. So let's give them, the Air Force, a shot, a taste of its own medicine, because they can't even keep pilots. This is the problem. The American Air Force will train a fighter pilot in 2.5 years, from the start to the finish, and then they're doing it. British Air Force, they're so mean and tight-fisted and like saving money that they take between 7 and 10 years to train a fighter pilot, by which time he's got pissed off and he's left. I say he, maybe she as well, because there are some she's in there. And in my experience, women are very good as pilots. You know, they're no different to men. They can fly airplanes just as good as the rest. And there are disadvantages to being a woman fighter pilot, of course, but minor things like.
Which news place did you read this?
This was on Sky News today.
It's probably bollocks then.
Well, a lot of stuff on Sky News is bollocks, but I would say that to all the white men out there, white males who are disillusioned at not being picked to join the Royal Air Force, I said they're not good enough for you, mate. That's what I'd say to you. Bollocks to them, because
I'd say to any coloured people or anybody of any persuasion, if they get rejected and they know in their heart they're really good.
Let them employ all these diverse people. Let them achieve their diversity targets that they want. Okay, because it gives all those diversity people a chance.
I'll tell you what I think the problem is, and it was in all the UK, pretty much all the UK newspapers went with the headline the other day, and I actually thought, yes, the penny has finally dropped. Google and all the top tech companies admitted artificial intelligence has run away from them and is a problem. And I believe that you get people like that woman in charge of ITV who let Piers Morgan go because he refused to apologise to a liar and say, sorry, I do believe you after all. People like that woman, she's called Dame Carolyn McCall or something. They spend their life on Facebook and they are tricked by swarms of bots who they think are individual human beings.
With opinions.
With opinions, who say things like, oh, you've got to be diverse, oh, you've got to fight, all white people are racist. They come out with all this shit because they're AI, they are bots. And these people, these wokey people, they've fallen for it because they live on social media and they suck it all up like a sponge. Whereas people like in this community and you and me, we question things. We ask awkward questions and we want serious facts. Whereas these people just go back to what they think are their fan base, and they're bots. We know you guys are not bots. You make really diverse comments all the time. You have all different manner of phraseology and language. Swarms of bots are quite easy to see. They're quite easy to spot because they don't make any common sense. When I was on Facebook, there were certain people you could argue to the death that it is daylight during daylight hours and nighttime at night, and they go, no, it's the other way round. That's a bot. That's a bot, and it will argue to the death.
Princess Diana's causing trouble again. You think, where have you been for the last 20 years, or are you a bot?
Yes. And there were, of course, a lot of Russian bots, and I dare say there are other enemy states that attack us with these bots. And instead of MI6 and MI5 and GCHQ have been warning for decades.
If I was a Russian, I'd be laughing my head off saying I've infiltrated the RAF recruiting, and now they only want gays and black women. And
not only that, our mainstream media in the UK and America has been infiltrated and influenced by bots, most likely from enemy states. And instead of them using their heads to think and their ears to listen and their eyes to see, they're so fearful of being unpopular on their precious Facebook, Instagram, or any of those social medias. They're so scared of criticism that they just kowtow and give in to what the bots say because they think they're genuine fans. They think they're the majority. And that's where a lot of politicians have gone wrong. And I think Sky News particularly falls for it. It is the worst news station, in my opinion.
Oh, it's awful.
I have seen items on Sky News at critical moments in history, such as our national elections, where they've given us a lecture on how to make a cup of tea, or they've gone live to a bakery at a critical moment.
Joe Swinson, we remember you.
Instead of reporting the bloody news. I don't know how the journalists on it don't just die of embarrassment. Because it's a bullshit news station.
It was clearly an agenda.
Your news item, if you got that, I don't know why you watch Sky News, Graham. I stopped watching it years ago. It just makes me angry.
I just put it on. I do. I put it on in the background sometimes just to listen to what
you should watch a variety. You should watch GB News.
Oh shit, they're spewing.
You should watch some of the American ones. I watch a bit of the left, bit of the right.
I watch French news, French 24 in English, and I watch DW News in English, which is German.
Yeah, but again, they lie.
News,
they lie. It depends what the topic is.
Depends what nationality you are. It's always best to watch other countries' news, because they'll tell you what's going on in your country before your country does.
Or they're critical if it's a right wing problem and you watch a left wing channel. Sometimes you can get a better idea, and vice versa. Although not always. But you've got to do your own Google
news
searches as well.
News is supposed to be impartial and unbiased, but it is very biased, I find, these days.
Because you used to say to me, oh, blah, blah, blah's happened in the news. And I'd say that was 2 weeks old. What are you talking about? And that's not the way it happened. And you'd read a post on Facebook, no doubt by a bot, and I spend most of my life searching Google. No, I don't just take the top results. I mean, I do deep searches. And quite often, this is something interesting. Very interesting. You know when someone's trending and you've got the prompt bar on Google, like Meghan Markle, if you type in ME, chances are it's going to come up Meghan Markle. Does for me, because I search her a lot, obviously. Philip Schofield, I've been searching him a lot for about 4 days now. And yet still, I've got to get to almost the end of his surname before Google goes, oh, that Phillips. Oh, we thought you wanted Philip this, Philip that, Philip. Oh, yes, we remember. Isn't that interesting? Now, that tells me somebody's paid for influence with Google on a search. I'm not suggesting Philip Schofield. Perhaps Philip Schofield has a fan base that.
I think it's too late to be throwing money down that. I'm
telling you that I could get my phone right now and do it.
You've got two choices, mate. So, either kill yourself or kill everybody in the whole world. Drown Essex in wine.
My point is, it's not just about Philip. If you ever see a subject that's dodgy on the news, go onto Google and search that. And if you have to type out almost the entire search phrase, you know you're onto something. Google are trying to hide it. And I believe people with money can pay Google to have themselves removed from trends. That's what I believe.
Cat having a poke.
Oh, she wants another stick.
Jumped up and stuck her claws
I
in
bought
there.
her treat sticks today, and she loves them. She's had 2 already. Oh, well then, just give her some brekkies. You can't just walk out in the middle of your video, Graham. Anyway, so yeah, and I have noticed that with Google before. There's some things are very difficult to search, and the top Google results are often really crap, really irrelevant, or much of a muchness of the same. So Google is not very helpful. The only way, Google is a good way to see through the enemy's eyes. That it's a good way to see how these manipulators are trying to twist us.
Yeah.
And they're becoming ever more obvious. But that's the problem. I doubt the RAF themselves actually think that. It's probably Sky News and the people who edit it and are in charge have been sitting on Facebook, and they've been sucked in like schmucks by bots.
It's an RAF base, can't remember, Lynham I think. They've got a rainbow zebra crossing for the kids on the base. A rainbow. It's cool to be gay. Oh, you want to be transsexual? Okay, you can be a fighter pilot in the Air Force. Can you fly? No, well, it doesn't matter. We'll train you. It's fine. You'll be fine. We'll just see how you get on, eh?
I'm like you. If the person has the ability and they're good at what those kind of jobs require is aptitude tests to see who's naturally got the best ability, and whether they are gay, whether they are transsexual, whether they happen to be a double amputee, such as Douglas Bader, who was really, really fucking good at what he did. Whether they are coloured, whether they're Indian, whether they're white, whatever they are, that's what
I want the best.
In.
If I'm the recruiter
Exactly.
and I want fighter pilots, I want the best.
You
I
don't
care
take
who
someone because they're white. And
I only want black people this week, or I only want women this week. That's
It's
bizarre. It's madness, isn't it?
discriminatory.
Absolutely madness. You get the best people for the job.
Well, all I can say is that I think that half the people are what they call woke, and the rest of us are awake.
Yeah.
And who do you think's going to survive in the event of a nuclear war or a catastrophe?
I know.
Which side?
But can you imagine all the money spent training people, and they say, "Oh, I
You're too
failed the
old.
course at the
You're
end of the
too
day
old."
because I don't like flying. It makes my ears go pop, and I'm scared of heights." You think, "Oh, we could have said that right at the beginning, but we only employed you because you were diverse, and we're trying to make
That's
diverse
ludicrous.
targets."
It's a ludicrous basis to employ someone. Ludicrous to employ someone based on the colour of their skin is racist.
I'd have them in the flight simulators, and anyone who showed promise, I'd have right. You, and you. The rest of you can sling your hook. Honestly, that's how I do it. I'm just focusing on that. But there's more to being a fighter pilot in the Royal Air Force than being able to fly airplanes. Apparently, you have to be able to tell posh jokes based on opera, in the mess, wearing a dicky bow, and all this kind of etiquette.
You don't know
I think
that.
bollocks.
You don't know that.
Let's get in there, get the best people to fly the planes, do the job. That's what you want. The best snipers that can hit the target. Not interested in what kind of jokes they tell.
The reality is they'd be better off with kids on a computer with a drone.
Well, that's what they want, and there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it going down. But they've clearly sent their brains to the Ukraine, haven't they?
Or they've been successfully infiltrated by Russia or another enemy state, and they're walking right into a bear trap. Anyway, I'm getting some more water.
I think that's about it. I think I've run out of things to say. It was just that one thing, because I am clearly a useless white male.
No comment.
Good night, and may your God go with you.